What is going on, my Houston Texans family? Wanted to continue our discussion on the 2025 draft class for the Houston Texans and wanted to speak on the offensive line. Let me know down below on a scale to 1 to 10 how worried about you about this unit. Because in the draft, the Houston Texans only spent one draft pick to improve this offensive line, and it came in the second round, pick 48. A trade up was involved, but the Houston Texans selected tackle Ariante Ursery out of Minnesota, and that's it. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to continue to talk about the offensive line, talk about this draft pick. My name is Ruben Calvillo, and this is the 713 Houston Sportcast, where I drop daily Houston Texans content. So please make sure you guys are following me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok for the latest Houston Texans news, rumors, and updates. Now, talking about Ariante Ursery, I love that when he got the call from Nick Caserio, he just told everyone he spoke to that they got the best tackle in the draft. Now, the ceiling for Ariante Ursery is high. Let's see what PFF has to say. The Texans' offensive line offseason overhaul continues here with the Ursery addition. Over the last two seasons, Ursery showcased an explosive first step and quick feet, allowing him to significantly impact zone blocking schemes, where his 89.5 PFF grade charted in the 84th percentile. Now, let's go ahead and get to his draft profile. I'm going to bring it up here for you guys. All right. Wonder what number he's going to wear. But he stands at 6'6", 330 pounds, 23 years of age. He was the 69 rated player on PFF's big board. Ursery brings alluring size and length to the tackle position for the NFL. He has good hands, an explosive first step forward, and quick footwork to be an impactful zone blocker, but his naturally high-waisted build impacts his leverage and may inhibit him from keeping NFL rushers in front of him. Ursery was a 3-year starter at left tackle for Minnesota from 2022 to 2024. His size stands out as he measured 6'6", 330 pounds. Give me 1 second, family. He is light on his feet despite his size and has an explosive first step that yielded high PFF run blocking grades in zone assignments. Ursery has the foot quickness to make it to his landmarks in pass protection, but can struggle against fast edge rushers, sometimes because he's high waisted. His pad level is high pre snap, and he pops up high when the ball was snapped, which allows bendier edge rushers to get under his arm. To mitigate that, he lunges, which gets his weight too far on his toes and off balance. When Ursery keeps rushers between the shoulders, he has the girth and weight to anchor, neutralize, and move them. He has good eyes on stunts and twists, but can struggle to stay in front of rushers when they get across his face one on one. This definitely seems like a project, ladies and gentlemen. I want to see where he was, like, what trends did he have in terms of, oh, let me go back. Like, who was selecting him? Well, I guess it doesn't show us. But ladies and gentlemen, Ariante Ursery, he is the new tackle for the Houston Texans. Now, I wonder where he plays, because when you hear General Manager Nick Caserio say, we're going to try to put the 5 best linemen out there, I think for sure at least one offensive line spot is secured by Titus Howard, and I think he's your left guard. Cam Robinson, I think that's your starting left tackle. He's only been a left tackle in this league. If Ursery beats out Cam Robinson, hey, shout out to the Rook. Center, I think, is Juice Scruggs. You don't want to give up on a second round pick. Right guard's interesting because it could be Lakin Thomas, and even though he's never played right guard before, it could be Ed Ingram, who was a 3-year starter at right guard, but was viewed as someone who was just as bad as Kenyon Green, or Ariante Ursary. Now, 6'6", 330 pounds. That's not a guard. That's a tackle. But he is an athletic freak, and it would not surprise me if the Houston Texans try him out at guard. Try to get the best 5 offensive linemen out there, which brings me to the question that I asked you guys in the beginning. How worried about you about this offensive line? And if it was me asking, I'm at a 7. I'm at a 7. Now, there's just one commenter. Shout out to the OG who said, and you know who you are. I'm overreacting about this offensive line. But I want you guys to hear me out and understand why I'm feeling this way. Because entering this draft, we were saying the Texans need to get a tackle. The Texans need to beef up their interior. The Texans need to get day one starters with 4 picks in the top 100. And honestly, I only see 2, Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel. I don't think Ariante Ursary starts for you in 2025. I don't think Jalen Smith, the cornerback out of USC, who you took in the 3rd round, is going to play significant snaps for you because of how great our secondary already is. Essentially, what Nick Caserio said that after Ariante Ursary, that was it. He didn't think an offensive lineman was worth being selected for an offensive line that had CJ Stroud, the 2nd most sacked quarterback in the NFL last year. And oh, by the way, you traded away his 5-time Pro Bowl left tackle, and all Pro Bowls were in Houston. That's why I am concerned. Because when we saw the story of CJ Stroud upset after the Laramie Tunsil trade, and rightfully so, who wouldn't be upset? Has a conversation with Nick Caserio. I don't think it was a heated conversation, by the way. I just think it was a conversation. And we hear that Nick basically tells him, I know what I'm doing. Just watch. Which is why we heard CJ Stroud on his press conference during day 1 of OTAs talk about blind faith. Well, this was all Nick Caserio did in the draft. An offensive lineman who more likely than not won't play for you significant snaps for you in 2025. 2026, 2027, he might be, your starting left tackle. I wonder if there's any moves out there that could be made to bring in some offensive linemen. I've been bringing up the notion of maybe Davis Mills is on the way out and maybe he can be traded for a veteran O lineman. Don't tell me it's not possible. When we saw Kenyon Green and a 6th round pick be traded for CJ Gardner-Johnson, one of the best safeties in the NFL. Now, Nick also said himself that, the draft is not the only way to add to add free agents. We know post June 1, players are going to get cut. We know once training camp comes, players are going to be cut, surprise cuts. It's going to be real interesting, ladies and gentlemen, to see how the Houston Texans navigate their offensive line going forward. But as of right now, it just look. I'm worried. I am worried because Cam Robinson, Titus Howard, Juice Scruggs, Lakin Tomlinson, Ed Ingram, Blake Fisher, is that a better offensive line than Laramie Tunsil, Titus Howard, Juice Scruggs, Shaq Mason, and Blake Fisher? I don't know. We'll have to see. I just don't want to see quarterback CJ Stroud running for his life like he was last year, and it affected him. And here's the thing: when we realized this offensive line was garbage, a lot of us realized we can't go to where we want to go because this unit is so gosh dang bad. And it's not like it was tolerable bad, where Yeah, we know that the offensive line's not good, but hey, they'll give you a couple opportunities to stand back there and and sling it. Now, CJ was running for his life. With that being said, guys, y'all let me know your thoughts on the Houston Texans only spending one draft pick on the offensive line. That was Ariante Ursary, tackle out of Minnesota. For more Houston Texans content, you guys know what to do. Feel free to follow me for more. Go Houston. Have a very, very blessed day.